Today we will read about the dedication ceremony of Kali temple at Dakshineswar. Rani Rashmani. We have heard about Rani Rashmani, who had actually built this temple, and she was the owner of this temple. And what happened, and what Sri Ramakrishna says, or the master says, about the dedication ceremony of the Kali temple. So once more, welcome to Devakshar. Always stay tuned to our programs, our episodes, and do keep watching Devakshar. Subscribe to our channel. So let us start the dedication ceremony. Regarding Rani Rashmani's dedication ceremony of the Kali temple, the master later told us many things on different occasions. This is what the writer is telling us. Once he said the following: the Rani set a date and made all the arrangements for her journey to Varanasi. Nearly 100 boats of different sizes were ready at the ghat, loaded with various objects. In a dream on the night before her departure, she received the divine command of the goddess. The Rani cancelled her pilgrimage and began to search for a suitable place to establish the temple. This is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling one of his disciples. There is a saying, the western bank of the Ganges is as holy as Varanasi. With this in mind, the Rani first tried to find land in the village of Bali and Uttarpara on the west side of the Ganges, but she failed. The Rani offered enormous amounts of money, but out of petty jealousy, the famous landlords of those places refused to sell land to her. Moreover, they even said that they would not bathe at the ghats on the Ganges if it was built by anyone else in their jurisdiction. So the Rani finally bought this place at Dakshineswar on the eastern bank of the Ganges. Part of the land of Dakshineswar selected by the Rani had belonged to an Englishman. The other part was an abandoned Muslim graveyard where a Muslim holy man had been buried. The plot was in the shape of a tortoise shell, high in the center and low around the grounds and the edges. Such a burial ground, according to the Tantras, is a favorable site on which to establish Mother's temple and perform sadhana. As if guided by providence, the Rani selected this place. The Rani dedicated the Divine Mother's temple on the day of Snan Yatra, the bathing festival of Vishnu Jagannath, instead of on a day deemed by the scriptures to be auspicious for the installation of Shakti. The master told us the reason for this. From the day the image of Kali was begun, the Rani practiced severe austerities in accordance with the scriptures. She bathed 3 times a day, ate plain rice with clarified butter, slept on the floor, repeated a mantra, and performed worship according to her capacity. When the temple was completed and the image was ready, the Rani carefully considered an auspicious day for the installation. The image was kept packed in a box lest it be broken. Over time, the image began to perspire. The Rani received a command in a dream. How long will you keep me confined in this way? I am suffering terribly. Install me as soon as possible. As soon as she received this command, the Rani anxiously consulted the almanac to set an auspicious day for installing the deity. As there was no auspicious date before the San Yatra, she decided to perform the ceremony on that day. We heard from the master many other stories on this topic, including the Rani's dedication of the temple in the name of her guru so that cooked food could be offered to the goddess. We heard two episodes from Hriday. Hriday Ram was Sri Ramakrishna's nephew. First, Ram Kumar granted the Rani a rich scriptural interpretation so she could consecrate the temple. Second, Ram Kumar is the elder brother of Sri Ramakrishna, had to consult a Dharma Patra, the leaf of impartiality, to convince the master that it would be appropriate for him to accept the office of the priest. We understand from the master's conduct at this time that Ram Kumar at first had no intentions of permanently accepting the office of priest at the Dakshineswar Kali temple. When we reflect upon this issue, it seems the simple hearted Ram Kumar did not fully understand the situation. He thought that he had sanctioned the cooked food offering to the deity and that on the consecration day he would perform that service himself, then returned to Jampukur. In addition, from this, his dealings with his younger brother at this time, we believe that Ramkumar was not at all hesitant while offering cooked food to the deity on that day. He did not think that his actions were in any way contrary to the scriptures. Early the next morning after the consecration, the master returned to Dakshineshwar to inquire about his elder brother. He was also curious about the activities that would take place after the dedication ceremony. He stayed at the temple compound for some time before he realized that there was no possibility of his elder brother's return to Jamapukur that day. Although Ramkumar asked him to remain in Dakshineshwar, he did not obey. Instead, he returned to Jamapukur for his meals. The master did not return to Dakshineshwar for nearly a week. He stayed at Jamapukur thinking that his elder brother would come back when it was appropriate after finishing his responsibilities at Dakshineshwar. But when Ramkumar did not come home even after a week, the master grew anxious and returned to Dakshineshwar to find out what had happened to his brother. He learnt that at the Rani's fervent request, Ramkumar had agreed to be the permanent priest of the Divine Mother. At this news, the master's mind whirled with thoughts. He tried to dissuade Ramkumar from his commitment by reminding him that their father had never officiated for lower castes, nor had he accepted gifts indiscriminately. It is said that Ramkumar explained his decision to the master in various ways, using scriptures and reasoning. But when nothing touched his brother's heart, he finally adopted the simple method of using a dharmapatra, the leaf of impartiality. It is said that the following was inscribed on that dharmapatra. Ramkumar's acceptance of the office of priest cannot be condemned. It will be beneficial to all. Although the verdict of the Dharmapatra relieved the master's anxiety, another thought now occupied his mind. With the school now closed, what was he going to do? Absorbed in that thought, he did not return to Jamapukur that day. Ramkumar asked him to take prasad from the temple, but he refused. Ramkumar tried to persuade him in various ways, saying, "This is a temple and the food has been cooked with Ganga water. Moreover, it has been offered to the Divine Mother. It won't do you any harm." But these arguments did not convince the master. Then Ramkumar said, "Well, You can take uncooked provisions from the temple store and cook your meals on the banks of the Ganges and Panchavati. Don't you agree that everything is pure on the banks of the Ganges? The master's deep devotion to the Ganges defeated his strict observation regarding food. His faith accomplished what Ramkumar, well versed in scriptures, could not do through reasoning. The master agreed to that proposal and remained in Dakshineshwar, living in food that he had cooked himself. We see that how Ma Kali brings him back to Dakshineshwar, keeps him there. Though he's cooking his own food, later he becomes everything. Mother becomes everything to him. It is always the mother, and he could not think of anything else. This is how God calls us. So she, Shakti, called him to worship her over there. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Stay tuned to Devakshar, like and share our videos, and do comment and tell us how you have liked it. Thank you so much for being with us. Namaskar.